We on Zeitgeist stream number 5. I'm the host, Matthew Gonzalez. We got Third Eye of Destruction, and we have a very special guest with us. We got
Edgar.
Mr. Edgar.
Pinche no quema. In the cut, fucker.
AKA
Actually, my name is Steven Esponka.
Esponka.
Right.
We got Steven Esponka is our special guest. He comes from the land of Instagram, where you may know him. Unless you are from other... Is the song not turning off?
Wouldn't, no.
So...
Colloquially, I'm also from Bad News, Virginia. 757-236-02 Shittywood Drive. Very important.
Where do you think people will know you from? I said Instagram.
What do you mean? People know me from the gram. I go ham on the gram every day, baby.
You go ham on the gram? So, what are you? Are you like a micro celebrity?
I'm cute. I'd say I'm a micro celebrity, yeah, like a micro celebrity.
Want to tell us about that?
I'm just a known guy. I'm a known guy.
You're Mr. Popular?
No, I'm like Rasputin. Like I'm just like a little buddy. You know what I mean?
You're like the fly on the wall to all the more popular people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the
exactly.
Weirdos. You've been invited to parties before.
I just know everyone, man. Look, really, I'm just a popular learner, just like Rasputin was.
Yeah, you're spreading wisdom on the gram.
Spreading wisdom on the gram, little Latin wisdoms.
Yeah. Tell us about that. How did you get to where you are, huh?
Okay, my history.
Yeah.
So now I'm an Eastern Orthodox Christian. My religious history. When I was 13, I was really interested in just religion in general, like the Jewish creation myth in Genesis. Always something that interested me. COVID hit. I was just attacked with every single thing imaginable. You got Hebrew Israelites, you got black Kemeticism, you got perennialism, obviously. You have all sorts of stuff. For a long time, I was not a long time, like 6 months I was a Hebrew Israelite back in COVID. Another 6 I was like a black Kemeticist.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking Edgar.
Yeah.
I don't even want to explain the cognitive dissonance there, but then I was enchanted by Islam a little bit, like the imagery invoked in it was like really powerful to me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then I became a Christian in December, like a couple of days before Christmas, back in like 2020, I'd say. And then from there on, I was a Christian.
What pushed you
3 months
specifically
later,
towards Christianity, would you say?
I just ran out of options at that point. Like, nothing was working. Like, there was
Were
like
you
no
spiritually
sort of like clarity.
afflicted?
There's just like no spiritual clarity in everything. Like the New Age crap, like that I describe with like black Kemeticism or whatever. It's like not consistent at all. It's not consistent by any means. It's like almost like self-lacerating. Like it started out from people just like becoming vegans or whatever to have like an alkaline blood system to like them freaking out and like trying to drink their own piss and shit. Because they were like, dude, if you harm plants, if you're a vegan, you're still low vibrational because you're killing something and it just evolves into like actual schizophrenia.
Well, so you're supposed to be breatharian.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like I don't
breatharians.
know.
Yeah, or breatharian. Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
For like 10
breatharian.
Is that a real thing?
for like 10 years I've said breatharian.
Breatharian.
Yeah, it's like it's especially satanic because it's envisioning a world that can exist without sacrifice, which is evil.
Yeah.
Or not even just that. The only thing that could actually like make you live without eating is like the word alone, but they don't even have that. So it's like a
Yeah.
total lie.
Yeah, it's evil.
Also, now that you say it, a big component was just sacrifice. Like I think, like two innovations that Christianity brought to me that it's just obvious. Reality is centered on like, well, reality suffers under the conditions of like our fallenness, and then also reality is just based on sacrifice.
It is.
Those two innovations that Christianity brings is just like,
Yeah, everything
it's like
is
literally
based
true.
around sacrifice, but there are invalid forms of sacrifice too.
Yeah.
Which are done to avoid the more significant sacrifices, but then those sacrifices have to be made anyway. So it's just people delude themselves into thinking that sacrifice is like a cruel or evil thing or whatever. You know what I mean? And I think that that's a big angle in which people like misunderstand Christianity is because they don't know how sacrifice actually works. I think you know what I mean.
Yeah. Also, another thing is like things that were actually just sacrifices. And even Christians will call them like biblical paradoxes or whatever. Like they are paradoxes to an extent, but what they really are just like sacrifices, and that kind of like line of reasoning, like that, just building on top of that, that was what made me convert.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
the way,
another way to interpret sacrifice is like the veil that's placed
yeah,
over certain things in creation, wherein things are grasped through like ungrasping. Which I'm not sure if I even talked about that in the last stream. Jonathan Pajot has talked about that a bunch, and I think it's a really important thing to understand with the Christian paradigm, right? Is that there's a veil placed over basically everything in creation that can only actually be had spiritually as like a gift from heaven, like manna, and you know, like the Israelites. When the Israelites they wanted luxury, they wanted fortune, they wanted decent lives, but they had to sacrifice their life in Egypt and they had to suffer in order to be able to actually obtain these things in the promised land, right? But they didn't want to make that sacrifice. They didn't want to let go in order to actually have these things to begin with. So they tried to seize these things back in a forceful way, and they wanted to return to Egypt. They literally wanted to return to slavery. God didn't let them. And obviously, that's the whole Book of Numbers story, I guess. But I do think that that's just really relevant to Christian thought in general. If you try to live, if you try to survive in a sinful, fallen world, you actually lose your life realistically. Versus in Christ, we give up our lives, and then in death, in the tomb, there's like a way out into the resurrected, uncreated life of Jesus Christ, in the body of Christ, right? So it's like that's something that every religion basically lacks because they either go the route of like excess or just like complete ascetism, like Buddhism, which is like evil, it's deprivation, and I think that that's something big that persuaded me towards Christianity personally. But for you, um, what would you say was the big like psychology switch from shifting from like being enamored with Islam to like, moving towards Christianity? What was something that maybe uh, ethically convicted you? Like, no, things work this way. They don't work this way, like in Islam. You know what I mean? Like,
um, this is, I don't remember it clearly, honestly, but the biggest thing is just like Islam is like the question of the Tower of Babylon to an extent. Like it seeks to like it is skepticism of God. It is like trying to build build a sort of utopic civilization on Earth. Instead of like everyone be united under like one miscellaneous like type of language that they were in that time, like when it was created, it's just like Arabic culture. It is
Yeah.
that. Another thing is just like Jesus himself, like it was a very irrational, like childish type of belief in him, like that the supremacy of that over Islam was just like a lot,
Hmm.
like actual love. Um, Let me think. It was a lot of stuff like that. Like it was just simple stuff like God being love. The God of love is just the God of submission. Why would
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to? Why would I want to follow a loveless God?
exactly.
Um,
And
I was
especially
gonna say something a little bit
who
more
didn't,
nuanced.
a God who doesn't like, who can't, literally can't, or refuses to dwell with his creation or have any real relationship with his creation at all.
Yeah,
A Unitarian occasionalist deity, that this deity's wrath is extremely petty compared to the true triune God, who's not occasionalist, who's not petty at all, who's eternal, who has eternal covenants and promises with his his creation. I think that that's like much better. I feel like God in Islam goes back on his promises. There's no eternal priesthood. There's no
yeah,
temple. There's no real covenant or anything. God just changes his mind like all the time. You know what I mean?
I
yeah.
mean, one could
Well,
say that he believed that we didn't earn it, or that he was going to give us this thing, but then we lost it. So it would have been better to just have like a Judaization, like rabbinate, until we're like ready for an internal priesthood with Imam Mahdi and Jesus
Yeah.
coming back.
oh
What?
yeah,
Which?
that was another
Yeah.
thing too. This is the biggest thing. Probably not organically my own thought, but it was just like Islam is like to me at least it's the wish of the Pharisees. Like they wanted Jesus to be like a ultimate, well, not Jesus, but they wanted their Messiah to be like an anime like warrior king like
Yeah.
Khan,
Yeah.
Somebody who like
and it
was
was just
given,
given to the Arabs. It was given over to the Arabs, and
yeah,
that's what Muhammad to me at least is, and it's like the worst manifestation ever of like probably anything.
you make the most money for doing all of like the prayer numbers. You get spiritual money.
Yeah.
You're supposed
What
to
was
go
it
to
called?
the
Like
spiritual
zakat,
Yeah.
bank.
Hold on. Okay.
It's like
I gotta
Rakat
get food
and
real quick.
Dean.
rakat. Yeah.
Um, Actually, I want to double check this. Rakat. Single iteration of prescribed. So you have multiple rakat during your dua, and then there's like a number system. It's weird. You have
What you need that for? Not the clothes, the stepping stone. Oh yeah, just put on the floor. What's up?
I was just looking. Looks like there's like this chart where you're supposed to have like a certain amount of Dean, and I'll just show it real quick. It's this. Uh, you're supposed to get. I wonder how much all that is together, but it's like the repetitions you're supposed to do, and then there's like some weird like deed system where completing all of the rock cut like adds one to your dean, or each of the rock cut is like worth one dean. I'm not sure, but and then they have various different like pillars. Is it called pillars? You're supposed to fulfill all of the pillars so that you can enter into heaven, There's like some weird imagery where like you will walk to a building. It'll have 5 pillars, and each one has to like remain standing for you to like enter into heaven.
So is it just like what do we call it? The bell towers in Orthodoxy. It's like that
toll
sort of
houses.
total houses, yeah, bell
I
towers.
I don't even know anything about the toll houses. I'm not even versed on the toll houses at all, but I believe so. Where it's like they're the various things that you have to like traverse through to get to the court to be judged or something.
Yeah. Also, Islam is just another thing. It's just something I've had to continually. It's as wrong as it is. It's the only. Islam is like the only religion that like has any sort of intellectual stance, poise or whatever, against Christianity, and Islam still fails at that, like big time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's no typology. Historically, it's not consistent. Muslims who insist on it being God's word and then it being like divinely attributed in like whatever whatnot, and it's like you can clearly see that riffs on like the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Barnabas, not yeah, the Gospel of Thomas, right? Like it
Barnabas
clearly rips that
too.
off.
Yeah.
Barnabas too, but that was like a later innovation, right?
Yeah.
And it's like
I mean,
obviously the Quran was compiled. Like I don't know why they deny that. They deny like very obvious things like that.
Stuff from the Talmud.
Stuff from like weird Jewish stories. Like you guys talked about that last time, right? Like just
Yeah,
Syriac
like
legends about Alexander the Great.
yeah, and then the
that
more
might be
obvious
true.
ones like
That
Saint
might maybe be
Saint
true.
John of Damascus. Like a lot of Orthodox Christians make this observation, but like it has like traces of Arianism. Whether or
Mm-hmm.
not Muhammad talked to an Aryan monk, like I don't actually know, but it's obvious that
He's
he was influenced
Ebionite, I
by that.
think.
It's
Ebionite,
more
yeah,
likely he's Ebionite. Yeah, his first wife's uncle was probably an Ebionite, and when he had the revelation, or before it, I'm not too sure. They may have like conversed about stuff. So it was either like the Ebionite monk that he talked to was like the reason he went into the mountain, or it was after he went in, he had to talk to him. Probably both, actually.
yeah.
There was
But
a
yeah,
Jewish woman that I think it was a Jewish woman that Kaja called, and she said that no, it sounds more like you talked to a demon when he had returned home, and told her that he saw the archangel Jibril, and she said it sounds like a demon, and Kaja was like, no, actually, I know Jibril. My uncle believe my uncle's told me about him. I will call him, and you will see that he actually talked to Jibril.
yeah. A couple of other things is like back to the culture thing. It's like why can I not read this in my own language? Why can't I read this in Spanish? They're like, no, it's God's word. You can't alternate God's word, and it's like, bro. Okay, first of all, you're ODing on translation. Like when you translate something, like even if like the meaning is misconstrued like a little bit, like you can use like basic exegesis to get what it means. Like you guys have scholars either way, so
They don't have a Holy Spirit to guide the translators. Yeah.
that's fair.
Who
And then
even who No, you go ahead.
and then like why can I not read this in my own language? And then it's also just like we are Catholic, like we are universal, like we don't try to mess with people's culture at all. Even like ex-Muslim countries or whatever say this, but like Turks, like you ask any Turk, they're like, bro, we're not Arabs. Whenever you try to ask if they're Muslim, like it obviously Arabizes people. Like it obviously tries to submit them to a culture. Like you ask Muslims and they're like, yeah, that's like one thing about Islam I don't like. Like it really does Arabize people.
Yeah.
Um,
What
it
what
has no spiritual.
Oh, sorry, you can finish that. I was gonna ask you
Yeah,
that
this is
after.
the last thing. It has no spiritual watchfulness. Like not philokalia. What's it called? I don't know what the exact term in orthodoxy is called, but like self watchfulness. Like Islam has none of that. It's just like You do your deeds, and then it's done. There's no
Yeah.
like unseen warfare in Islam.
Definitely. I mean, there are
It's
there are the
literally
ji-
just
there are the jinn that live human lives, but they're invisible in a different dimension or whatever. It's so bizarre. Anyway, what persuaded you towards orthodoxy specifically? How did you come into contact with that?
well with the points I just said. It's also just like Orthodoxy's most attractive thing is just its message of love. Like the mercy it offers is like obviously it has like actual supremacy over Islam. Like Islam's mercy is like it's like paper mache. It's like very thin. Like it falls short. Like
There's the hadith. I can't remember which one it was, but it was something like you guys can look it up. There's a hadith that's like
actually
a Muslim that sins, his place in heaven will be there because he's gonna make a Christian or a Jew pay for his sins or something.
yeah.
That's a
Big
Actually,
thing
Matthew.
also.
Oh wait, you go ahead. I'll bring up what you're talking about.
Big thing. Muslims like unity of being, which is basically just like agape. It's like our concept of God being love. I talked to a Muslim about them because I was like, oh, like this is like a concept I find very beautiful. He's like, oh, it's not like a Orthodox Muslim belief. That's like a very like Sufis sort of thing. I was like, bro, your God isn't love. Like, why does your God not love? And it was just that, bro. It was just like everything falls short.
yeah, definitely. It's not a real relationship. It's extremely conditional. It's a very conditional
Yeah,
relationship with God, which makes it very worldly. You have to be worldly to serve God in Islam. Even the charity is
yeah.
extremely worldly. Everything is worldly in Islam. But how did you come into contact with Eastern Orthodoxy exactly?
Like everyone else who becomes Orthodox now, just the internet. It took yeah, like with most Christian converts, honestly, I feel like this is a big phase. You actually get thrown at it very early. Like you just get shown it, and then it returns to you once you have no other options. Like I took it for granted. Like I think someone told me about Christ the Tao, and then I just kind of ignored it for a minute. I was like, oh, that's like cool. And then I kept doing my New Age shit. Once I ran out of options, I read Christ the Tao, and I was like, oh, this is
Yeah,
literally the fulfillment of everything I've been looking for. Like I'd say for me, the Old Testament of my like spiritual beliefs or whatever was like the New Age crap, and then like the actual fulfillment of it was just becoming a Christian. Like
Mm-hmm.
uh, Christianity just gave me the eyes and like the tools to like actually fulfill those things that those New Age practices were grasping towards. I'd say.
yeah,
That's what reminds me of like Calvinism, because I believe that when you're like in a spiritually confused state, but you have like the air of righteousness about you, and you see all these other people engaging in these like practices, and you're like, no, that's actually fucked up. I'll never fall into that. But in truth, you're actually seeking Christ like the whole time, and that's
yeah.
what you were trying to uphold, and you didn't even know it.
It's like I saw someone say this where it's like love at first sight almost, where you you see someone and you might just think that it's like an attraction, but like years later when you're already with this person and you look back, like that moment it had like the force and like the inertia of like fate itself, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's such a weird microcosm of, I guess, of predestination. Not that this is not a Calvinist channel or anything, but it's an interesting belief nonetheless. Uh, like when you use it as like an analogy, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, uh, the immortal questions.
So I mean, it's just the belief in God itself. Like before, I basically had an atheist childhood. I'd say like I'm a child of this age. Like bro, I grew up on the internet. I grew up on like Richard Dawkins type atheism. When I was like 7, I was like the dinner table with my 3DS. I was playing like YouTube, and it was just like Armored Skeptic videos, and I was eating like chicken nuggets. Like,
Yeah.
like then after I play like Halo ODST, like I'm a zoomer. So that's my like spiritual background. Not my spiritual background necessarily, but just my upbringing. Like I came from that disposition.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you someone people would describe as chronically online, or like have you been like in the internet trenches?
I'm like a nomad, honestly. I just be everywhere, bro. I've been in the Kinney community. I've been in the commentary community. I've been in the young trapper community. I've been in the opioid addict community. I've been in the young adult Instagram community. I've been in the gay guy community. Whoa, I've been in the
Don't make me
fucking B
spit take.
community. I've been in the underground community. I've been in the Go Animate Artist community. I've been in
The Tamdam
the Mexican
community.
community. I've been in the Tanzanian community. Well, I own that community. That's the one I'm in right now. I've been in all sorts of whatever, just like that sort of thing. Which I
You
guess
get
you guys
invited to
are
all the
too, to an
parties.
extent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just go to everyone's house, but it's not like because I'm cool. I just blend in really well. Like
You go.
nobody can
You
actually.
entered all the celebrity spaces through the back door because you yourself aren't like famous or anything. It's like you slipped
Bro.
in.
We had a guy who came on stage.
You can let him in for a sec.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
Small.
yo, what's up?
Attack of small.
All right, this is
Yeah.
your cameo. This is only your cameo. You have any words
Yeah,
to
what's up,
share?
guy? Boy. All
Yeah,
right.
what's up?
What? Just a little cameo. Who's Edgar? Introduce us.
Es-
You
Esponka.
say Edgar? No,
Hey.
I'm fucking Edgar. Fool. Yeah, what's up?
You can't tell because he chopped off all his beautiful hair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking Edgar,
Ye-
go fucker.
yeah, you look a lot different.
Ah.
Damn, yeah.
What?
New
Well, do you have any
style.
wisdom?
You have any Latin
Oh, hang on.
wisdoms for
Let me
us
turn.
that
I
you
have
want
the
to tell us
stream.
to
I
the
have the
dinner
stream
table?
still playing. This audio's terrible.
This yours
Hang on.
sucks.
Okay. I had the stream audio playing at the same time, so I was kind of like freaking out. All right, we're back. Do I have any
All right,
wisdom?
quick wisdom.
Some quick wisdom. All right. Quick wisdom. Okay. All right. This one's for anybody who's like dealing with some social situations. All right.
Some girl problems.
Sure. All right. So basically, okay. Anyways, so I would say, if you're ever trying to make a judgment on some issue that you would say is, like a more important one, right? I like, and you really want to have like a sober and like, reasonable and informed decision on whatever the topic may be. Something I've realized is like, you have to be sure about a very like a decently like large and of like decent variety. You have to be like well informed on a decent variety of just like traits pertaining to whatever this could apply to literally anything, whatever like social situation or whatever like person you're trying to learn about. You can think of it you can kind of think of it as like a game of Clue, where until you have at least, I would say, like 50% of the territory completely like honed in, and you have an accurate image of it. Oh shit, my girlfriend's calling me. This is fucking ironic. But just quickly, until you lock
Running
down
out of time.
until you lock down at least like half of whatever territory, the rest of it, like there's still so much like chaos and possibility that like guess it, like making an educated guess is almost impossible. And then you kind of have to realize that like you actually know nothing about like 99 or not 99% of things, but like 99% of things that you don't take time to like play Clue with, and you know, I don't know, I can't find the words for it right now, but it's very much like a strategic, mathematical, specifically like set theory and numbers based thing. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Clue analogy is the right way to go there. But fuck, I've kind of got. I'm in a little bit of a situation here, so I probably gotta go.
All right,
But yeah,
we'll see ya.
nice to meet you.
Dios te bendiga.
Hello.
Anyway,
Hello.
the Matt Connor stream is gonna be in the future. Anyway, so I have to bring up the GQ. Do you like anyone?
No, dude. Not the girl question, dude.
Come on.
Who
Do
do
you
we
like
like?
anyone?
Who do we like?
I like a lot of people.
But who do you like?
I saw a really beautiful girl at Walmart today. She's
I
at
see
the
beautiful
cashier.
girls every day.
She had like really long
Every
nails,
girl's
which
beautiful.
isn't usually my thing, but she was so. I was telling my mom that the girl looks really cute.
Every girl's beautiful, so I see.
That's true.
Beautiful girls every day.
Well, come on. Who do you like?
Well,
Come on.
I like this one girl, and I talk about it every other fucking time. I won't say her name here, but it was a sticky situation. Worse than airplane food. The situation, not her. It was worse than airplane food. Airport food?
Is it meant to be?
What?
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, was it meant to be?
Yeah.
Like, I like to think about it like this. We were on two separate paths, two parallel lines. They said they could never meet, but they did meet. They fucking intersected. But since they intersected, they became one point, and then they had to diverge.
Do you have any advice for people in your predicament, in your pickle? We're trying to not be stuck in that, not be seizing at something like we talked about before. You know what I mean? Trying to force a relationship into happening, but it actually destroys everything, makes everything fall apart. Got any wisdom?
This is something a friend Augustine de la Rosa told me, but the first thing is to be honest with yourself, and also just to be like, you low-key have to be like a virgin about shit sometimes. Like, if you think your intentions are pure with a girl, they probably are, but our flesh like overwhelms us like almost every time. It's just something you have to keep in discretion. Another thing too, love has two baptisms: a baptism by water, which I say baptism of water just as in like, oh, it's like an easy initiation. It's like the puppy love phase, and then once you endure like tribulations and all that, that's the baptism by fire. That's like when you lose feelings or whatever, when you go through like an actual struggle. That's when you find out if you love the person or not, and you just have to be aware you just have to be aware of that fact. Yeah, that's when
It's
you
like the
know
phoenix.
what true love is. Yeah.
You have to you have a very juvenile initial love towards somebody, but and this, it's not useless that humans experience this, you know what I mean? But people, they fall in love, right, with the potential of something, and then they're met with the reality, and then they have to retract, and then after they retract, something is sacrificed. There's a feeling that is sacrificed, and it is turned into incense, and then the true relationship after the sacrifice is given, like a gift from heaven, but it has to be sacrificed. People have to make sacrifices. Compromise is a terrible word. People have to stop saying compromise. Relationships are all about compromise. No, they're actually made about sacrifice. There has to be sacrifices between people. You know what I mean?
You sacrifice yourself for the one you love. You have to bleed your feet for them. That's why. It's probably just because I'm young, because I'm surrounded by people like kids like this. But I hate like Disney Channel ass relationships.
Same.
Like I kind of get what Arabs mean when they hate when people show affection in public, because that's not what.
I
like
hate seeing people kiss on my Instagram feed, bro. I turn full hater. I hate seeing people happy. I'm just kidding. I hate seeing fake ass couples on Instagram though.
Yeah,
It's gotta stop.
It's a display.
It's putrid.
I'd say what I suffered with that girl, that was like genuine love. It was just like, it was definitely like a learning experience on what like actual love is.
Yeah. You have to suffer and you have to bleed.
Yeah.
I agree.
It also made me like way more poetic. Another thing on love, you have to be a poet.
That's true.
You really have to be a poet. There's like no other way.
Crespin,
even if you're a simple person.
Do you have any wisdom to give to me and esponka as an older learned man, an older brother to us? About love. About love.
You don't really know what like real love is until you actually face persecution and you take the leap, and at the point where it becomes transactional, where the investment is not worth the price, then you like cut things off. You have to understand whether or not there's like a point to that. And I'm not saying like somebody breaking boundaries or whatever, but I'm talking about like how the outside world will persecute you, and how you'll suffer afflictions and you'll suffer sin, and you have to understand if this is really something that the only way that you'd be separated is through death, or if this is like, if there's some sort of like cost, there's like some sort of cost like gain thing that you're doing where there's like there's going to be a point where the cost is too great.
Yeah. Would you both consider yourselves romantic men?
I believe I was, but I don't know anymore.
You got black-pilled. You got black-pilled by this clown world.
You're like Crespin. I do kind of envision that about you, that you're like an anime wilted rose that has like its petals like falling off and it's like losing its color. You know what I mean? That's actually cool though.
He's the orthodox gamer, bro.
There's more. There's actually, that actually is like mad romantic though, if you think about it in like a paradoxical kind of way. What about you, Ishwanka?
I'd say from this little thing happened, I discovered I am a romantic little man, but it's also probably due to and owned to the fact of my Mediterranean heritage. So it's probably that.
Yeah.
But I'm also like a sensitive, cerebral, like poetic, like guy.
I'm like that. What are your guys's what's your Aiden Ross Riz?
The girl I was with She was like the type of girl that had like bad handwriting. Like, that's unattractive as fuck in a girl. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god.
And like, I think she could read, but she just like, she didn't really reply to anything I said. But like, she really did appreciate it. Like, she thought it was beautiful. But it was just like, I guess the fact that I knew words, like if you,
C'est quoi? C'est quoi? C'est quoi?
like I feel like my literacy is like the basic amount of literacy like a guy would have in like the 19th century, but everyone now is like actually illiterate, so it just like it's like exalted.
Yeah.
Like, here's actually a little tangent about literacy.
Yeah, go ahead.
People, they can't read books, they can't read like chapters, they can't read paragraphs, they can't really even read sentences. They just like kind of read words. Like, people will just pick out words from a sentence and that's their interpretation. And it's like the type of shit that makes someone think that like The Brothers K is like a YA novel instead of like a philosophical like dialectical like discussion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's why like theory cells on like Instagram or whatever like actually like stupid.
Yeah.
Like, they can't figure shit out. Colloquially, I call them book merchants.
Colloquially.
Like the book merchant phenomenon.
Colloquially.
Colloquially.
Yeah. Nah. Damn, that's an ugly beetle that's like crawling on the wall. Anyway, I'm like rotting in my room. I think my what's your Aiden roster's question?
I don't really know what that means. Like how
Your
I
fucking
would.
wrist technique essay. Like, are you like, do you want to be my Valentine?
Yeah. Like
You know what? I didn't do it much really when I was growing up, and I've been in a relationship since high school.
yeah. So
For, like,
your wrist
years.
is like being like dark and brooding and scary.
Yeah.
That's actually cool. My riz is like, I don't have immediate riz at all. When I talk to women, it's usually after I'm friends with them for like a week. I'm like, I'm like really annoying, and then I like fluster and embarrass them, and then like chemistry usually happens because of that. Because I'm just a bad person. So that's like generally how it works. I make women like really upset with me, and then it works. It works that way, I think. But not everyone can do that. Though I would not advise that to be like a universal thing. And also, you have to do it to confident girls because there's like a big chance, like if you're talking to like a really shy, timid girl, and you're you're basically lightly bullying her, like you're gonna mess her up really bad. So it's like this technique only this only works on like girls that have like self confidence in lives and are like kind of extroverted. Because there's
My
a lot of
thing,
people. There's a lot of people who do that on Discord that I've seen. I've like spoken to people like this personally, to where like they're like Discord goons and they like talk to like shy girls on like Discord, and they only know the technique of like being really annoying. So then they straight up abusing their crushes. And, like that's so fucking evil. Not to not to be like super vulgar or anything or like crass talking about this, but like those people are losers. I don't know why that's such a big thing though. I feel like that's a Gen Z thing where guys are like really excessive, and they specifically go after reserved women. Uh, we need to make like a PSA about that, about like our age group doing this, because it's like
would you
it's an
like
epidemic.
guys going after shy girls?
Yeah, guys going after shy girls instead of being mean to them.
Will guys also just go for girls that they believe are like below their bar? And that's like a
Yeah,
very Gen Z thing. Like, they're like, I don't want to fucking get with a pretty girl. I don't want to get with a fucking pretty girl. I want to get with like a fucking non-binary girl.
yeah,
And
it's so evil.
it's something. People will argue it's like a confidence thing, but it has to be like way more than that. You know what I mean? Like, that's like a weird like social cultural thing.
I think people are just straight up evil, but
Yeah.
they don't have, but they also have like zero ambition. It's like the like Gen Z dating market is literally just like if you're not already within a social echelon and like no one knows who you are, find like a bunch of like people who you interpret to be losers, and then like basically bully them into submission. It's like the Discord tactic, I think. Um, but I don't really use Discord like that, honestly. So maybe I'm like out of touch. I do have a Discord, but I don't really use it that much. But that's what I've seen. I've heard people say that, so it's probably true. I think it's true. I've validated 5 sources, 5 samples. Anyway, so let me go through the list again. Immortal questions, the GQ, the Tam Dam question. I don't know if I want to talk about that. We're Tam Dammers. Okay, on website. On the website.
The website. Oh yeah, that was just gonna be on the website you guys are gonna create. One thing I wanted to do on the website was this idea for the article, and Crespin introduced this sort of concept to me. Like before I go in depth with what I actually want to do with that idea, I'll just let him explain it. Like the idea of like women and eunuchs being like deaconites of like the church during like the end times before the last judgment. Like that was like a cool idea. If you can probably explain your idea than I can. So
I totally forgot about where I understood the idea of like the eternal priesthood cannot die. Like God will literally intervene if you try to kill like the last bishop in the world. Otherwise, the world will end if the last bishop in the entire world dies. Matthew, do you remember where that comes from?
I remember us talking about that like 3 months ago, but I don't remember what we actually said or what we read. No.
So depending on
it'll come back to us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Depending on whatever your eschatology is, whether you believe that there's like a tribulation church or whatever. I'm not even too educated on the eschaton, but I was thinking.
Let's not even fully talk about that because that's a can of worms. I don't really want to go in right now. But
I was just saying that depending on whatever, if you could imagine like an end times church, it would be it'd be whatever legit it would be what the Protestant church is, but it's fully comprised of people who followed like the bishops when they lived, but they have no ability to take up the role as a bishop. So the church will.
Muhammad was a Christian and he's a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just that. But let's go back to the website though. So we're going to set up a website, and esponka here he's going to write some of it, and we're going to be blog besties basically. We're starting a new community of people, and we're basically it's the niche of YouTube that's like people with like 50 subscribers that have like 2 people like watching them. It's going to be like a federation of people like that basically, and the website's going to be like that. But the website's going to have the most traction because I'm going to make it happen somehow. I'm going to force a bunch of eyes on it because there's going to be important stuff on there, actual like wisdom bomb truth. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be mind blowing. And esponka is he's a dear friend to us, and he's a if you don't think he's the most eloquent, beautifully spoken man in the whole world, trust me, he's an amazing writer, and your socks are gonna be blown off. Let me tell you. After that, well, writing. We'll talk about writing. On writing, there's a thing there. What are your influences? What authors really inspired you? What are your favorite books? And what kind of stuff do you like to write about? You know what I mean? All that jazz.
So, before getting into like my favorite authors and whatnot, a big thing for me, this is like my history with just literacy in general, book reading and whatnot. Book merchants theory cells, whatever you want to call them. I am developmentally, like literally stunted because of them. Because and this was sort of my fault. This is like a gruggish reaction. Like people who can't disseminate their own information, like fucking up my way of just learning. Like that was stupid on my part, but it was pretty reasonable, just being like a Ludidite or whatever about it. I let those people ruin reading for me. Like I just refused to read any books. I was like that type of guy. Like, bro, you don't need to fucking read a book. Just read the Wikipedia article for it. Like, you can read the Wikipedia article for an idea and you'll get the gist of it. Like I was like that type of guy, and I blocked myself out of like something I actually really like to do. I just like writing and reading, bro. Like I'm not like I denied myself something I really liked. And that's my history. So I say
You're,
that to
you're
say that
now,
like I'm really
now
not that far in.
you're the redeemed, learned Edgar these
I
days.
am. I'm the redeemed Latino Zoomer Eddie.
Yeah.
Latino Zoomer. Anyways, now for me saying Dostoevsky is my favorite author, I feel like that's like a very sophomoric thing because I feel like for like intellectuals, that's like a very like introductory like author or whatever. It's like a way to ease in, but it's whatever. I'm not that embarrassed to say. But as for my favorite book, probably the Brothers the Brothers Karamazov. Like it it's sort of, even today, it still like introduces like the nexus of like our beliefs, like just modernism in general, and it tackles everything, and it also like it doesn't give clear cut solutions, but it gives like tools, active love, all that sort of stuff. And it also steelmans against like religion in like a very like good way, like a very fair way, but it also says that it won't do anything for, like, even if religion is wrong and you assert it's wrong and you assert that we live in like a lonely world with like no divine consolation, like that won't do anything for suffering. Like
Yeah.
that enough was like powerful enough for me. So like that also just influences the way I write. It's I'd say like I'm into like polemic writing, but not polemic. Eh, yeah, polemical writing. Like I'm interested in that, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. But you are you kind of like a Slavophile? It's from like Dostoevsky. You're into Russian stuff.
Probably at this very moment, probably. But I also haven't explored many other authors besides Dostoevsky from the Silver Age. Like I kind of like don't care about Leo Tolstoy, honestly. Like what enchants
I
me
do
about Russian
think
Silver Age.
he's like a better not since
Oh, by all means, yeah. Like
he's
I
he's a
won't
much
even
better
argue.
writer, much better novelist, and just in terms of like
Dostoevsky was just obsessed with the novel format.
yeah, I do
playwright.
I won't write a novel like now because I feel like you have to like reach a certain age before you're like allowed to do that. I feel like if I wrote a novel, I wouldn't have like enough to say and it'd look really stupid. But he's what made me want to be like a novelist to begin with for sure. And I've heard other people say, like Dostoevsky though, he's good at writing like dialogue for sure, which is why like it would adapt so well to like movies and plays and stuff like that. More so, but he's a weaker novelist. But I do really like. He's probably also his faith is probably more sincere. He didn't really go through like a crazy vegan, insane phase.
Also, and I'm
Lots of
convinced of
lots of
this
good
just
shit.
because of where he draws this like dialogue from. Like he draws it from like real people who became saints like before they were even canonized, like the Optima elders or whatever. He was probably like, and I don't necessarily like. I don't necessarily read like the Brothers K like it's gospel whatever, but I definitely view it as like spiritual praxis, like almost adjacent to like something like unseen warfare. Like
Definitely.
it is that I
It's
feel.
been like invaluable to Christians basically dealing with the fallout of
Yeah,
like the new revolutionary sciences and secularism
yeah,
and I guess like Marxism and stuff. It's been very useful for people to handle all of these different developments for sure without talking about Dostoevsky too much. But you'd say he's what really made you into literature.
yeah. Um. Also, another reason I don't like Leo Tolstoy, and I'm probably wrong on this honestly because I don't really know that much about him, but it seems like he's not like as Russian focused as Dostoevsky is, and I'm not like I don't care for nationalism honestly, like, but I feel like Russia out of any civilization, especially since it's Orthodox, but also besides that, it's like the most human civilization. Um, it endured a
Sometimes
lot.
to a fault, just because of like
Yeah,
populism and everything that comes with that. But I know what you mean.
it suffered the Enlightenment, it suffered the Reformation, it suffered everything, and it still remained Orthodox at the end of the day. Like it was a continuation of Byzantium, and probably still is, honestly.
The Third Rome,
Um, yeah.
yeah,
So, and Dostoevsky, I feel like he just really emphasizes that. Like he emphasizes the new Russia, which is just like centered around faith and love. Like in one character, Alyosha, like that type of um that type of thinking just really enchanted me. I guess I don't
yeah.
see any of that in Leo Tolstoy. Like Leo Tolstoy is like aristocratic. He's like centered around like particulars. I don't care for that. Probably wrong. Correct me if I am wrong, but
Um,
try to view it.
you're not like too far off. But it doesn't it would being like an aristocrat in Russia isn't doesn't really have like the same connotation as like being like an aristocrat in like other countries. I feel like there's always been like really wealthy or well off people in Russia who like the masses like completely despise because they're like writing about something and then they have to like move somewhere else. You know what I mean? But I do maybe sometime in the future when I want to revisit it, I'll do like a I'll do like a Russian literature stream. I am a fan of Tolstoy, um, Pushkin, Dostoevsky, Chekhov. I'll talk about that some other time. But
Yeah,
what about like American literature? Have you read much American literature at all? English literature?
not necessarily American, but Anglo literature has been interesting me. Like something I've really wanted to get into is William Blake, John Milton. Like I think that's my next phase. That's what I'm really gonna hone in on because I've that type of stuff is just really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Uh, William Blake, especially, like that's like an interesting figure for sure.
Yeah. Um, he's yeah, he's interesting. It's kind of difficult to parse through him sometimes, but a lot of the stuff people levy against him is like I think wrong, but also you have to parse through a lot of the like interesting stuff he said without being like a part of his cult personality, basically. By the way, guys, we're just doing like a cursory glance over stuff. I know it's probably bugging people that we're bringing up a bunch of interesting stuff and not going too in depth in it yet. We'll do that some other time. We're just gliding over stuff right now. What about are you a fan of movies? You like movies?
Oh, do I? Uh, so you look at my Instagram and there's just like a 4 month period where I'm just straight posting like screenshots of quotes from the Brothers K and then like clips from Tarkovsky movies. Favorite director, Andrei Tarkovsky. Uh, as pretentious as that might seem to people at surface level, as that may seem to like more experienced people, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Um, my favorite movie of all time Stalker. I was like that movie came to me at a really I watched it beforehand, but it came to me once more at like a very pivotal point in my life, and it probably set me on a better track than I am now, than I would be otherwise. I mean,
Stalker's really good.
Very.
I'd say Stalker is like actually a metaphor for the Orthodox Church. Like, am I like that's my interpretation of it at least.
Mm-hmm. Could you elaborate a
Um,
little? I find it interesting.
Yeah, it's like maybe not the Orthodox Church, but just faith overall. But I think the Orthodox Church is like a very like key component of it. Obviously, like Tarkovsky's Russian, he had it in mind, but like the stalker leads them to a place, and it's their deepest desires, and they don't know whether or not it'd work out. Like if you look at the area surrounding the room, it literally looks like an altar.
Yeah.
Like the inside of a church. And it's hard to explain, but none of the men can figure out whether or not they actually want to go through with it. They want to destroy it. They want to destroy faith. They want to destroy their own church or whatever. They want to destroy faith, basically. And the scientist resolves on not destroying faith. Yeah, it's that actually that whole segment of the movie is actually like a lot of philosophy packed into like one bit.
Yeah.
But
No, it is.
all of the ideas connected, which is interesting to me. Also, my Bluetooth headphones died.
Oh. No, you good. We got the replacement. We're savvy on this stream, by the way. We're mad savvy. We got it down pat. Anyway, what about animated media? Like any
This shit
animated
doesn't
media?
work.
Craftsman, you gotta come in.
What's up?
Fill the airwaves.
I was just researching my idea, but I was thinking about.
This is so fucking annoying. This
You're
is
good,
so
bro.
fucking annoying.
You're good, bro.
I'm just reading stuff right now. Like I'm reading about Islamic death theory, eschatology, Islamic eschatology. It's weird.
Yeah.
Put Edgar
Anyway.
too.
Edgar too.
What's
All right, we got Edgar too now.
Yo, what's up?
Okay.
Alright.
What about animated media? You like any animated media?
Oh, do I? Actually, I wanted to finish up my point about Stalker.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah, the fact that in the end of the movie, like it basically implies something about women, and it's something about women. Like it's implied that like the mother's wish could actually, like her deepest desire could be the only one to fulfill like anything good, because the whole thing is like your deepest desire is actually like a monkey's paw effect. It's like the previous one that used the room, like he caused the death of his brother, and it was just something that was interesting to me. It was like even in that fallen world, like genuine faith and love was like underlined. It's hard to explain. Also, Matthew told me to like drink coffee before this, and I'm like tweaking right now, I'm like touching my face and shit.
Sorry. You're in front of like 50,000 people.
I was gonna be famous.
Yeah, it's over. Anyway, yeah. So the stream kind of we'll have better streams that are much more prepared, where we have more to say. This is kind of just an introduction, guys.
Yeah, I'm a new guy.
Yeah,
Boy.
we just wanted to show off our friend, to show that we talk to people. And in the future, he's gonna be working with us on like the site. So we have this stream here in the back catalog. So people who go on are not gonna be like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, where did he actually come from? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so people are probably gonna skip over the stream, but in the future, like even like years from now, people are gonna go back to this specific stream, like see this basically.
I'm First of all, I just want to say I'm valid. I know Lean Up on Instagram.
Wait, do you?
My manager, low key. He's
Oh yeah.
you look on esponka on Instagram. He's followed by me, so I'm just like valid as fuck on the net or whatever. So if you question my credibility,
A rat
there you
race.
go. Rat Race follows me. Every underground cool guy follows me.
Yeah, we're tapped into the culture basically. We got slouching towards Gamora. We gotta have him on a stream.
Actually, like he's funny as fuck to talk to. I
He's
would
actually
not
so
be against
funny.
that.
In the future, in the future, we'll have you and him on. That'd be witty. Okay, let's go through some more of the questions. So, on school. Okay, that's
Pinche escuela? Fuck. Let's talk about school, guys. What are you fucking? You got fucking cute girls in your
I hate
classes or what?
school. I personally, I hate school. I've always hated school. I've never liked going to school. I've hated most people I've gone to school with. I'm just generally like a buzzkill to be around. And I beefed with a lot of people in school. I'm a fake gangster, but I have street cred, and that made school worse for me. And I hated my teachers, and I hated every single subject. And yeah, it's just bummed. I was bummed out the whole time. I hated being a teenager, but school is a really good place to goof off at. I was really good at keeping high grades while basically not doing any of my work at all because I had a study hall eventually, and eventually because my credits were so high because I was grinding so much. By the time I was like a senior, I had like 2 study halls somehow. And my schedule was so lax that they were like, Naka, we're gonna force you to take a class or you can do early leave. I was like, fuck that, I'm leaving at like 10:30. I'm not staying at these times. So I just I spent most of my time writing in school. I spent most of my time reading. I could I'll have like a separate video about reading habits and how to get to my level. How to get to this fiendish kind of unhinged level. It's almost demonic though, to be honest. Well, I'll teach you guys
You do
how to sift through stuff really quickly.
where
What's
they
up?
like rock back and forth when they read. You do that shit.
Do I do what?
Just start rocking back and forth like.
No, but my eyes dilate like a bunch, and I like start literally sucking information from the page. But I spent my entire time in high school reading stuff that had nothing to do with work and writing, and I guess playing like freeware RPG games on my computer, RPG Maker games. Shout out. We'd be playing Mad Eve. We'd be playing Mad Eve and Fear and Hunger. That's not an OG game. That's a new game.
I guess I'm going through that right now. Any classes where I don't have friends in, I'll just like start like reading like a Wikipedia article. Start like that.
Yeah.
Kind of a dead.
I played mad visual novels in school and started talking to people. That's pretty cool.
Like kind of a detriment sometimes because I'll be reading something from like the Brothers K. I remember I read like the Father Zosima chapter in class, and like I almost like started bawling my eyes out. Like I had to keep I was like look at First block too. I was like looking down at my phone. I was like, just had to keep looking away from it, but it's actually like overwhelming.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's like a
That's-
funny time to like read that too.
That's actually not funny. What about you, Crespin? What was school like for you?
In school, I remember after I left Texas, I became really jaded and black-pilled, and I would do like really stupid stuff, and I'd read any like books like Brave New World, or I would read, what was it? I read another like dystopia book. I think it was whatever. Anyway, I read books like that, and then I went on 4chan on my iPad, and I would watch Filthy Frank in school, and I didn't have any friends for a really long time, and then when I moved again, I didn't have any friends at all throughout like the rest of school, but I spent my entire time just like researching stuff, like researching political parties and political treatises or whatever. But
Treatises.
treatises.
Treated, or is that actually how you say it?
I thought it was.
It's like treatises. Anyway, you yeah, I think we were both kind of similar in that way. But I mean, I went from having no friends at all and being like a weird anime loner, where I thought I was like, maybe if I look sad and pathetic enough and like look out the window, like girls will start talking to me. It didn't actually work out that way, and then I started just hanging out with people after
Yeah.
I became like legit. But actually, I secretly hated like everybody, which sounds really pretentious and like annoying actually, because I didn't actually hate everybody. It's just I really couldn't relate to probably most people, even though I think I had a decent amount of friends, even like parties and stuff. I could never really actually jive that much like organically for whatever reason. So most of the people that I actually did talk to on like a deeper level was like online, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And I was not interested in any of the clubs in high school. I tried that out. That was annoying, dude. That shit was so stupid.
You know, the only time I ever talked to somebody who, like online, like actually sought out talking to somebody was when I got like a real girlfriend.
That's crazy.
That's when I joined the Discord server. But no, yeah, I think we definitely share like a bunch of those experiences.
Yeah.
I was
What
kind
you
of like it up until like my sophomore year, and then I was like, bro, I need like a normal friend to just like normal out a bit, like have like both arms, two hands of like both worlds, just like the like underground smart guy world, and then like the normie world. Not normie, that's gay. I mean, just like regular people dimension.
Yeah.
Very pivotal, very important. Going through like the hurdles, like being like from this background that I came from, and then just like kind of having to go into the world a bit. Very good. It's giving me the tools to like. I feel like if someone like us goes out into the world and like just learn how to function like in both ways, or learns like every wisdom from both worlds, like that's like the kind of person that could like lead orthodoxy. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to be like the guy who's of the world, but is like connected to stuff that's outside of it, or be a guy who's outside of the world and try to like live in
like
the world.
the deepest fulfillment of like actually being a sojourner, like Abraham, like
Mhm.
sort of what I'm aspiring towards.
There are people who can be like that, definitely.
There's people who could be like that, but they're not like ordinary people.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're like people when we were growing up, we would end up hating them.
yeah, actually. I guess are we more like extroverted or introverted? Like I feel like me and Crespin are neither. Maybe Crespin's like more introverted than me a little bit. Than like I don't know. I've
I
met him.
haven't had any real
Yes,
friends for like 3 years.
Yeah.
I'd say that. I would say that.
People. There's like a lot of people who talk to me in real life. I just don't like. That sounds really mean. I just don't like think about them that much.
Yeah.
And it's not like a deeper relationship or anything. Nothing against them. I have a lot more acquaintances than probably actual friends, and I think I prefer
Mhm.
probably less attention drawn to me.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't know. Generally, if I've ever worked on like a big online project that's like gotten a bunch of attention or clicks or whatever, I've generally like gone out of my way to like erase my name as much as possible, or use like a throwaway alias or something. So this channel is like a weird bunker for that also, because I think at least probably 80% of people won't recognize me, and then there's like 20% of people that probably know me from like something on SoundCloud or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's funny that or like some random thing that I did like 4 years ago, or like I drew something. I don't know, but I'd say for the most part, I prefer being relatively unknown, but not out of like an anxiety for people or anything. It's also just like more to juggle with. I think probably having a bunch of people pay attention to you. It makes it kind of harder for you to actually be a good person, because you're
Yeah.
gonna value like all your obligations with other people over like your faith. You're not a very convicted person at all, and I've experienced that personally. I've been a very worldly person before, when I was focusing on maintaining a bunch of relationships, and I really should have been emphasizing my relationship with God, right? So I was very distraught over that, realizing that you can't serve two masters. And now I think I'm comfortable having like enough of a distance with people, if it means that I have like a if my salvation is secured, basically. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
like because it's it's I think it's good to have like a healthy dose of like existential like anxiety every once in a while, so you cease from being kind of wicked and complacent in other people's wickedness. I think it's worse than actually being wicked in some way, because you're just completely powerless. Like your decisions really don't matter at all, because they're just
Mhm.
completely within a box. You know what I mean? But also it's I don't know what it was like for you guys, but also for me it's harder to integrate with other people. Like as when I was younger, I was really into like goth stuff. I would dress gothic. I would have like my hair in a certain way, or like I listened to a lot of music like that, or I would like paint my nails black or something, and then people were like, "Oh, you look like autistic or whatever." And then years later, it's like a thing that's acceptable now, and like rap or whatever. And then it's like you really can't win. And then on the other side of stuff, it's like I listened to a lot of uh, rap music, or I was in like a certain culture or whatever, and then I try to talk to like like people into anime, and I'm like I'm too like socially out there to like hang out with like losers who talk about like hentai or something. This also sounds mad mean. I don't know. Like I literally couldn't hang out with like anybody at all until like probably like 2019. In 2020, it was probably the only time I was actually able to make like any friends at all. Because I literally I hated like whatever camp I was probably in. So I like stuff now with people. I feel like people nowadays have more diverse kind of interests, where they could be into multiple things. You don't really have to be strictly one way or another. And I don't know how it was for like you guys, but for me, like people were really strictly in their own lanes. Like rap and like anime or something was like not, at least like with people in real life. Obviously on SoundCloud, that's like different. But people in real life are really strictly in these different lanes where you can't be into like metal and rap at the same time or something, or else you're like gay and weird or something. You know what I mean? It's not that way now, though. I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably of the same ken as you. Like, I mean, I grew up on fucking like reviewer based shit, like Did You Go, like Rebel Taxi, like all that type of shit.
Yeah.
So, I'd say the contrarian shit, it's like stupid now, but like at the time I had that mindset. It was probably like the most useful thing. It's probably like the most pivotal thing ever. Made me who I am. Good way.
Definitely. Have your interests ever kind of stopped you from being able to make friends before, or have they only helped you make more friends and be more social?
My personality type is probably different from y'all's. I'm probably more genuinely shy than you guys, but also on top of that, it's exemplified by like shame.
Yeah.
Some sort of shame to an extent. So like I just like refuse to talk to people out of shame. Like,
yeah.
Shameful.
Yeah, that's mean.
Yeah. And at that same instance, I'm also like a really sycophantic guy. I always try to be Sphinx. Like I always try to like weasel my way into like any type of group for like fun. Not because like I think I'll gain anything out of it, but just because like I want to be everywhere.
That's kind of cool, though. Honestly, it's kind of
Yeah.
be everywhere. Talk to a billion different walks of life. You know what I mean? It's better.
Yeah.
It's better than being a specialist, which I guess I feel like me and Crespin are in like a bunch of different circles, but they are like kind of niche
They're
within
adjacent.
themselves. They're adjacent to each other too. It's like, you know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, what about you, Crespin?
I find it hard to be friends with people, like just random people that I meet, and or even like online or in real life. I'm always like super closed off, and I go about my business and do what I need to do. And I don't know. I
That stuff smells like dad smell. But it's the cheapest one at Walmart, actually.
I like the Adidas one is really good. It smells good.
That's cool. Yeah, I needed a new one. Yeah, it also has to be the alcohol one, so my pores can like seal up super quick. Because like my shit gets infected.
Watch this Azzy now in the back. I'm not even doing this like to be funny. Like Matthew told me to fucking drink coffee before this, and like I OD'd on the coffee. Like I put like 3 giant scoops in there, so I'm just like.
Here, well, I also told you to do a regimen of jumping jacks before the stream.
Yeah, I guess I should have done
that. What's that comment say? Even just a few years ago, we lived under the Will Ferrell and Stephen Colbert idol cult. As a kid, honestly, dude, I hated that stuff. I don't know what it was.
Not to be that guy, but I'm glad I'm not white, just so I didn't have to grow up with that shit. That probably sucked. Your life was ruled by Democrats for like most of your like adolescence.
Yeah, my video kind of describes like the type of snarkiness that I had from people like that. I always hated like when I was like as a kid, I hated like one of the most insulting things for me as a kid that like I'm still convicted about for whatever reason. It's just like I've seen this pattern in reality manifest in myriad ways, and it's just made me like a spiteful person to like a bunch of different groups of people that are like correlated with each other. But as a kid, there's like a there's like a Jimmy Kimmel skit where he told parents hey parents, you should tell your kids that you ate all their Halloween candy, and then like record their reactions, and like all these kids are like seething at their parents. I fucking hated that as a kid, and I still hate it now. Like it still deeply bothers me, and it made me realize that like Democrats like run the country, and they are like the ones pushing like the letter alphabet mafia to like bully people into submission and accepting a bunch of like evil wickedness, and just the spiritual gluttony of these people. It made me hate school teachers, and it made me hate people like completely. I'm not kidding. Like half of my misanthropy is probably like derived from that like skit for whatever. Like I don't know. That really just set me off. Like that's what I mean. In the video when I was talking about like ritualized behavior that female school teachers have about like having mommy time where they don't have to deal with like the annoyances of kids. If you replace kid with like working class or like Republican or something, it's like they're yeah, I want my own mommy time away from like beggars in the streets or whatever. Like you realize how like satanic and evil these people actually are, and how like unforgiving and like cold and matriarchal they actually are. So like that whole cult is like it's like connected to that. So as a kid, I only interpreted that as adults talking about having their wine time and their adult movie time and their coffee time. But as I grew older and became more aware of the world, I realized that those were avenues. That was like a nexus for like a bigger evil, basically, which is like the Jimmy Kimmel cult of like human sacrifice and like uh, annoying Democrat BS. I don't know. I don't know how to describe that. Like the Joe Biden presidency is basically like the Reich of these people, like the Gen X, like satanic, anti-neocon, anti-evangelical Reich that just hates Americans and hates like stupid, ignorant people or whatever. I don't know. And yeah, white people. So you're probably spared from this if you're not white.
No, I mean I
Dude.
still that shit. So like just I feel like the culture of neglect like affected everyone in some way. Like with Hispanic people, it's like your parents don't speak English, you can't really speak Spanish, so
Oh
you
yeah,
do
your parents. They even though you're raised to speak English, they yell at you in a different language from like across the house and like open and close doors nonsensically.
they're on the phone and they just have to like pace around that fucking entire
They have
house.
three. They have three TVs playing, and then they wonder why like their like children have like ADHD and are like robbing people and like can't like literally can't listen to instructions.
You make technology their surrogate parents, or like some random people in your neighborhood are the surrogate parents. Like, and they're like, "Why does my kid have autism? Why is my kid like introverted and like weird?"
Yeah,
And they have
yeah,
really
why-
loud
yeah.
like really loud Mexican music playing in like the garage while their dad's drinking and they're getting screamed at by their mom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actual hell on earth. That's like
Dude.
horrifying. I'm fortunate enough to not be raised in that. Oh my god, that's like Jaime would he would be having like a storm if he was on.
Yeah. I was mostly insulated from all that stuff like my entire life. There's like a singular instance where all this like Donald Trump stuff started happening with like a single liberal teacher who was like imported by our new president from Seattle, and she was super bad like teaching people like she was just basically like the modern liberal English teachers talking about like homosexuality and like female power, and she said something about Dante that was weird. I can't remember what it was. So I told her I was reading it, and she's like, "Oh wow, I'm so impressed that you're reading that." But I remember there was a time where I was like, Donald Trump's gonna win, and this Mexican kid who was really short, and he was like, "Oh." He's like, "Pinche Crespin, you need to shut up, man. Oh, shut up." He got so mad. He was like implying that he was gonna fight me or something.
Wait,
And
Man, that was really the time when like it was a microcosm of the harvest. It wasn't the full social harvest yet, but you really understood who was the wheat and like
Yeah.
half of that time.
I'm not gonna lie.
Families torn apart, etc. You know.
One thing I want to say about that in 4th and 5th grade, the Donald Trump shit was just like I wasn't even a Trump supporter. I was just like a really like aware kid, and like I was Mexican. I was just like, bro, why do you guys hate Trump? And they're like, my school integrated like systems really weird. They like mixed like the most like country club white people who wear like crane shorts and then button ups, like black kids who live in like government apartment complexes. So it was just like a mix of that.
Yeah.
And then I'll just go around and I'd be like, why do you guys hate Trump? And like, he's gonna fucking enslave us and he's fucking racist. And then like you have like
dude, there's like an Oni Plays joke where it's like Donald Trump is gonna start throwing black people and Mexicans in a giant witch's cauldron. He's gonna like drink them all or something. And that's
no, it was
literally
genuinely
like
shit like that. Like kids genuinely believe Trump was gonna bring back slavery, and I was just like,
he's the new. I mean, to be fair, I don't blame like 11 and 12-year-olds for even saying that, because like I also brought up before like Obama's campaign manager, I think, making like this like giant hit piece on Republicans being the new Jim Crow or whatever, and they compared like a side-by-side comparison of like Jim Crow era politicians pointing at like minorities and like civil rights people in the audience to remove them, to like Trump pointing at people in the crowd or whatever. And it's like they literally told kids that like Trump was like Jim Crow or whatever. Like I was told that in school, actually. Like in school, my teacher was basically saying, Matthew, I might have to go back to Colombia. You might never see me again. It's like, bruh, like you've been like you're like a U.S. citizen. Like, what the fuck are you? You're legally a citizen. You're actually like delusional.
put Edgar one back in here.
Yeah, we need Edgar one. Like I not like no fucking lie, bro. Like my teacher was literally saying, you know, he literally brought up like a white kid and a black kid. He's like, look at this. We can sit together. We can be in a class together. This might never happen ever again. You know?
Yo.
And, like, just genuinely tweaking. And honestly, like, if it was anyone else doing that, they would have lost their job probably.
Dude, Matthew,
this
woman.
Sorry, it was a woman doing
Yeah.
that. She also made us apologize. Or not apologize. She's like, we need to reconcile like these racial problems. And I'm looking back on it now and say, how is this not like insane, like coddling, like child abuse? How is this woman like keep her job? I was mixing her up with like someone from like a different year who was like saying that Trump was gonna like deport him because he's racist or whatever. Here's a different teacher I had who's a woman who literally made like the white kids basically like try to reconcile their ancestry with like the black kids.
That shit is so funny.
It's actually crazy. Just remove all the politics from it and just imagine like some like literally frothing at the mouth animal woman, like
dude,
doing that.
That's crazy because just to preface, the woman I'm talking about, she went to a really small like shitty school where I was living in a really small town, and it was full of like Mexican people that were like descended from the migrant workers who working at the apple orchards. And apparently when like Donald Trump got elected, she was like sitting in her classroom like crying, and the principal had to come and like baby her. And apparently one of like the janitor that worked there like made fun of her. He said something like Hillary Clinton's gonna go to jail, and she fucking freaked out at him. And I wasn't there, but this was relayed to me by a kid I used to go to school with. But
that's mad funny, dude.
She ended up leaving and going to Rearden, which is the famous Native American school in the famous book My Life as a Part-Time Indian.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. Shout out. I don't know. I didn't have too many crazy teachers, but the few, not to incel out or anything, but the few teachers I had that were like totally crazy were all like Gen X women, or like elder.
Gen X is just like a shitty generation, bro.
The council of the elder millennials. That shit's so embarrassing, bro. Like those were all like my teachers. I hated. I absolutely. Those are all those are the teachers that were meanest to me too. They were like mad mean to me specifically. I have no idea why.
Dude, my worst experience in school ever was when I lived in Texas in elementary school.
Yeah.
And it was literally like a Mexican matriarchy where every single teacher was a woman, and the only teacher who was nice to me or liked me was like a white, like Texas Southern Belle woman. But every other like Mexican woman teacher was like mean to me, and they like ostracized me. It was like the worst. It was like the worst school experience I've ever had. But
That is actually pretty bad. Well, who are some teachers that you were beefing with before esponka?
4th grade, I had this long-term sub, and she was just like she was like Medea, but real. And she'd give out like oatmeal cookies and shit, and like all the other teachers hated her, but all the kids loved her. And I was just like, bro, this teacher fucking sucks, and I'm not learning anything. And they were like, bro, you're fucking weird. I was like, bro, I'm not learning anything. Like I want to learn, and they're like, you're fucking weird, bro. I was like, okay.
That's
Like I went her to wash my glasses in the sink because they had like they were just like sticky for some reason, and she like yelled at me, and then she like was immediately nice to some kid that was like brown nosing. I was like, bro, fuck this shit. That just like permanently made me like dislike incompetence. That was really the marking of me disliking teachers, honestly.
You think?
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. I had a really eccentric teacher from the islands who was full. He was like full Spaniard, and his name I can't dox him. He had a Spanish surname, and he had a really thick accent, but he looked like completely like Spaniard Iberian. He's bald, and he looks like a miniature like dwarf Walter White. He was really cool though. He was my 7th grade social studies teacher, and he was actually really nice. But he did teach us a lot, but he had specific days where he just wouldn't teach anything at all because he was like too sidetracked on like a tangent about like how communism was like destroying everything or something. Even though he's like basically a liberal, and I'm trying to remember other stuff about him. He's cool though. He brought in like bonsai trees. There's a Muslim woman who basically did dawa to us in like 7th grade. Who was like friends with him, I guess. Or men and women can't be friends. So she was a teacher at the school who basically gave dawa to us, which is like funny looking back on that because we had. I learned more. Like I learned more about religious history in like middle school than high school somehow. I don't know how that's possible either because like I like even with like AP stuff, like they barely taught anybody anything at my high school. I don't know how they got away with that. Anyway, in 7th grade, we learned basically the entire history of like civilization and like religion. Where they showed us like the crescent, whatever it is, the Crescent River, and then like the Indus Valley civilization, Indus River Valley. They showed us like everything. They taught us about like Babylon, and like they taught us like literally so much. They taught us like very cursory stuff about like Judaism, and then they taught us about Islam. They taught us about China and like the Silk Road, and they taught us about like Christians evangelizing Japan, and then like the lockdown Japan had. And I remember kids were like, aren't like, this is actually so funny. Some girl like named Amanda was like, aren't Christian missionaries basically terrorists because they're moving into your country and like spreading religion? And then he's like, the teacher is like, not necessarily. Anyway, there's kind of a negative Christian stance in the class, obviously. We talked about Charlemagne, and we talked about,
he was the one good guy. He created liberalism.
Oh, we didn't. No, it wasn't even that. We just talked about him in a really neutral light. We talked about the fall of Rome and the medieval stuff. But there's still like occasionally we talk about like the persecution of the church. We barely touched on the Reformation at all. So that didn't make sense to kids. And then when it came time to talk about Islam, we had we literally did comparative religion in 7th grade. We compared Buddhism versus Hinduism, and then after that we compared Islam versus Hinduism. No mention of Christianity whatsoever. Only these religions, because Christianity would be like, we're not allowed to talk about that. And then occasionally we'd say something negative about churches and like how they control people's lives, but it's
They
like,
take our money, essay. They're taking our
Yeah.
money, essay.
yeah, and the teacher gave anecdotes about how it is probably true. How he went to Catholic school as a kid, and then the nun would like scream Spanish at him and would like smack his hand with a ruler because he used his left
The
hand.
nuns beat my ass, essay.
Yeah, literally.
She beating my ass, fool. And that's why I don't go to the iglesia anymore. That's why I don't give the money to the churches, because when they handle the baskets, all I get reminded is the nun beating my fucking ass, fool. And you hear that so many times from like everyone said they went to Catholic school as a kid. I'm like, bro, I don't care.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he literally told us about like he raised his hand with his left hand and they beat the shit
That
out of
really
him.
does suck though. Like Catholics are fried for like ever like Catholic
Not
school
even
is just like a stupid
not even like the
institution.
men, but the nuns are so mean. Specifically the nuns.
There's something wrong with like the sisterhood in like Catholicism. Like, why are they like that, bro?
Sisterhood is mad evil in like Catholicism because like every Catholic school story, like you can look up Joey Diaz
It's
talking about beating.
every Catholic school story is just like a nun beating someone's ass for no reason. It's like,
Dude, that's what me and Matthew are talking about. We're talking about like the dichotomy between Catholics and Orthodox, where in Orthodoxy you'll see like the priests and the fathers like beat each other up or get in fights, and then in Catholics you'll see like
The priests are pretty chill most of the time.
Yeah.
I feel, but the nuns are like they actually like torture people. Like they do like mad evil stuff. They give like a crucifix demonstration on like a kid. They're mad, like they're so evil. Anyway,
Stole a
yeah.
pinche statue of Mary, bro.
Yeah, but anyway, he just told us about how on the island. I think he's literally from Costa Rica, but he had like
That's crazy.
He had a wealthy Spanish family, but he just told us like about like he didn't. We're not allowed to talk about Christianity because like then that would be an intrusion on church and state. But we could talk about every other religion in depth and even force kids to think about the beliefs behind. Like,
Did they actually
that shit
believe
was
that?
so
Buddhism? Like they basically like indoctrinated us on religion. They didn't really do that, but they basically indoctrinated us to like respect like Hinduism and Buddhism by like learning like about the Vedic scriptures and stuff. And then a Muslim woman literally came to our school and did dawah to us, and she was like, "Yeah, well, we believe like in the same God as Christians and Jews, but like we have a special book called the Quran. Muhammad's like
we
the
believe in
prophet."
Motorola and Ultima, and they came, and Motorola is the last property.
She literally did that to us. She came in like wearing whatever the veil is, whatever the one is where like her you could see her like her face, but like her whole body is like covered. I don't know what that is. But she
Nakib, something like
It's niqab, I think.
that. Niqab.
Uh,
That's dyslexic as fuck.
That's mad dyslexic. She
I made up like a black kid name. They're just like,
anyway,
no offense.
yeah, no, but yeah, we're not allowed to talk about Christianity, talk about all these Asian religions and like indoctrinate us on them and their beauty, and then have a Muslim woman come, and this Muslim woman told us about like how that she doesn't believe in the Bible and believes in like the Quran and stuff, and we had to talk to her for like a full week. Basically, as she like told us about the 5 pillars of Islam and stuff. That's crazy looking back on it, because a Christian could never. They would go to prison for doing that. Someone would lose their job, like a Muslim woman in like full getup and like go in your class and like tell like your kids how Islam is actually really liberal. And
There is no other guy but Alan, and Motorola's his last messenger.
No, that's crazy. That's my story.
Yeah. I live in a like relatively more moderate like area of my state. So like I just got like a balanced view of everything. But like even then, there's still like that view on Christianity. Like no matter where you are, that's just gonna happen.
Yeah, it's kind of spooky. I don't know. It's just you know stuff's not good when like a Muslim woman in America
But
can basically
I feel
give
like in New England it's worse though. Like I think
that's worse.
if and when, because this is just gonna happen. Once like Islam just starts booming here, because people's lack of faith or whatever, like people just refuse Christianity or Islam is offered as like the only solution. Like it's just gonna start booming, and you're just gonna get more of that. Like it's already like in Pittsburgh, it's bad. Like it's really bad with Islam, or
Pittsburgh.
somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
It's somewhere. It's somewhere there.
I thought Michigan.
Maybe Philadelphia.
I thought Michigan was like little Saudi Arabia. It's like little Mecca for
Yeah,
America.
I think it's either
You guys send him back.
Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, but like either one of them, they just have like mad of Islamic growth. It's like
There's
wow.
like literally a cajillion, skrillion like Muslims living in like Michigan for whatever reason.
Yeah,
Like it's really.
If we have a Detroit caliphate, it probably wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah. I was thinking about that like a week ago. I don't know how I feel about it, but it probably is a little better than it's like having a Mormon caliphate in America. It's probably better off in some sort of way than like living in New York or whatever. I don't know. It's pretty scary though. I'd rather live. I don't know. I'd rather live in like a blatantly heathen place than live in like Episcopalian Antichrist,
Yeah.
where it's like we're like literally like Episcopalians here are like a
it's better to be cold or hot and not lukewarm. Like in a lukewarm place, it's like
definitely
worse.
lukewarm people that like it's not. I mean, they're not even really Christian either. I don't know. At least a Mormon or a Muslim will like not pray for you to kill yourself. Unlike the United Church of Canada will, where they have like prayers for abortions and stuff. Like it's pretty bad, honestly. It's like actual hell. It's hell world. But there's another thing we should talk about. I've been talking for too long, and this is the esponka stream.
Shoot, what did it? Okay, so an idea for article.
Wait. Animated stuff. I think I asked you before, and you didn't even answer. So
I think it was because my headphones died.
yeah, animated stuff. What do you like? Animated stuff.
I love anime. I love my shows. Damn, why can't I remember my favorite?
What anime do you love?
Okay.
I don't even think we talked about anime. Like ever.
I used to be such an anime head back then. Then I decided, bro, I'm gonna wean off the anime. Now I'm off anime.
I'm getting back into it after weaning off anime for like 2 years.
Yeah. I'm gonna just say manga. I'm gonna include manga in there, but like my favorite anime is probably Kaiji. Well, top 3. I got a couple of other favorites. Well, I cannot remember anime off the top of my head. Probably Full Metal Alchemist, but the one from 2003. That's fire.
Yeah, that's cool.
The one from 2003 that for some reason has Hitler. It's like, oh, that's cool. It's like a way more dramatic, like retelling. It's like it like actually includes the theme of sacrifice that I think.
Yeah, there's like a lot of weird, heterodox Christian territory in Full Metal Alchemist. It's really interesting to me, like with alchemy and stuff. I think it's pretty cool. It's litty. Like I want to revisit it because I haven't watched that since I was much younger.
Did you watch like both versions though, like Brotherhood and 2003?
Yeah, I watched both of those with my siblings.
Yeah, I think 2003, like the way the story ends up is like you can tell they cut it off, but I feel like it's more like consistent with its themes, like the theme of the brothers, the theme of like sacrifice. I feel like Brotherhood just like Marvel movie. it like cape shits its ending.
What do you guys think about the cross in the anime?
In the show, like the cross with like the snake wrapping around it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that symbol means. Honestly, I'm assuming like in alchemy at
Jesus, when
least.
Jesus was described as a serpent on the cross.
Yeah, like the typological like Moses staff thing. I just like
It's like Dan,
I
it's
don't
like
know why.
tribe of Dan as well, represented.
I just
with
don't know how that's like relevant to alchemy. Like I just don't get that symbolism.
like the underdog.
It's
It's like a
I f-
it's like an underdog. It's like an inversion of like evil in a way, where it's like the world is like kind of fallen and evil, and then the good thing looks evil. I don't know, like
I,
the
s-
green senses are upside down. I don't know.
I see it as that it's also an inversion of the Hippocratic cross, where it has less of like or it has more of like a Christological meaning than the Hippocratic cross of like that's like pagan origin.
Which I think is, I don't know. I have to rewatch it. I've been
Numbers
meaning-
21:8. The Lord said to Moses, "Make a snake and put it on a pole. Anyone who is bitten can look at it and live." Some Korra posts. Alright.
That's interesting. Well, we'll go back to you on that because we gotta rewatch it. Honestly, do you like what manga do you like, Steven?
Any work by Fukumoto, which Nobuyuki Fukumoto or whatever, the guy who made Kaiju, like that shit was like key. That shit was like very key to forming like my worldview, honestly. Because I mean, the way I viewed myself and the way like I just viewed the world was like through like a very like hikikomori like neat type of lifestyle, and like that's what he mostly writes about.
Yeah,
And
no, that's true.
that shit just hit home to me, and probably like made me mature as a person, like 70 times sevenfold of like what I would have been otherwise. Like it just like life isn't provisional. Like that was like a big thing. Like you are a constant, ever present actor, and like you need to act like today. If like nothing will fall into your hands unless like you take the steps necessary, like just basic shit like that. And I had to have those lessons given to me by like a Japanese guy, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool.
He also just had like a unique art style, like very geometric, but like geometric in like a cool cartoony way, I guess.
Yeah. Any Western? I guess you like Adventure Time.
Adventure Time.
Adventure Time Goons.
Western cartoons I've been F with recently. Primal. Animal on Adult Swim is good.
Yeah, that's the thing to. Oh yeah, I like that. It's by the guy who did Samurai Jack, right?
Yeah, Gendy Tartakovsky or whatever.
Yeah, I like Western cartoons. Is the bunch of anime had the same scrutiny that like Western cartoons had. Where like in the West, it's like stuff is just blatantly terrible, and you can tell that like probably most of the stuff that people like that's animated in the West is like garbage. But whenever it's like Eastern animation at all, people are like so like it's foreign, so it's like cool. I'm fine with it, and they can't understand that. Like they can't understand.
Turn a blind eye, basically.
Yeah, when it comes to like especially getting like manga, if there's no actual real books at the place where you're getting manga, it's basically cape shit. It's just like that. It's just Japanese cape shit. You know, I think it's important to be like a giant snob about anime in the same way you should.
No, it's genuinely why I can't enjoy like modern anime. I can't enjoy like if it's cape shit to me, like Attack on Titan. It's actually like good for most of its run, but its ending is like actual cape shit.
I was never a fan of Attack on Titan personally. I always thought it to be kind of evil. It's a I think that there's obviously the whole thing I think on Twitter like a while ago where people were like someone made a really funny thing where they're like Attack on Titan is literally a show about Nazism, and then like the entire song is like this weird type of like patriotism and like military celebrity and like punishing people for like their ancestors and stuff, and then like all these like genderqueer people watching the show. Like I think it's like
Yeah.
it's like homo fascism. Uh, and,
There's like weird movements behind it, is what you're saying.
yeah, I think it's kind of it's like there's a lot of shit like that in anime though, where like really stupid Western people will just like accept like whatever they like. What's that show? What's that show about like the cute like anime girl like lolly people that are like Nazis and like tanks? It's like Girls on Panzer or some stupid
Yeah,
shit.
girls
Yeah,
on Panzer.
yeah, that one.
I
Yeah,
never got the shit. Like
yeah.
as a kid, I was like,
Japan
this is
Japan
gay.
can like Japan can like murder a bunch of people and like commit a bunch of like crimes against God by like murdering people in China and like having like comfort women and sex slaves and like Unit 731, and then they can like just market that back to Westerners as like being like like people will forgive them instantly because they made like a stupid little show of, like innocent do no wrong girls in tanks to hide their like freaky crimes. They really deserve to get nuked, honestly. I know, like, America was probably evil for that. I don't want to have this get too edgy. I'm being like dead serious. I think like America was like you could think of America as like Babylon, being like a force of evil, I guess, being used against evil against Japan because like the nuke was bad, but it was also probably like much needed judgment for like centuries worth of debauchery and like anarcho-syndicalism, which I guess Japan never really changed from that much. You're basically ran by like weird cults and like gangs and stuff. The reason why there's not much gang stuff that's like apparently in Japan these days is because they already won. They already control society. Like most people who run Japan are just straight up criminal. And when I see girls on Panzer, it's like you can really see the facade like just fall apart. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, you have to be. A lot of new anime sucks. I was thinking about this when I was watching like a
It's
Digibro
made
video.
for like actual gay girls now, like Jujutsu Kaisen. I was like, bro, this is like a show people make edits for. Like,
Yuri on Ice. That's an anime my mom likes. Believe it or not.
fuck that shit.
Yeah. Nah.
I like that. That's my
Yeah.
reaction.
People. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something about anime cape shit. I can't remember. I'll just say. You have to be a snob about it. You can't just be mindlessly consuming. You have to be picky. And there's a lot of people who say they like anime, which just translates to they don't like. They have like zero taste.
My number one snobbiness thing, and this mostly applies to shonen. This is why I really fucking like Berserk, because like the author actually knew what he wanted to write. Fucking Hunter X, not Hunter X Hunter, but like more so.
We pro Hunter X Hunter on the show.
No, I love Hunter. Hunter isn't even like a fucking like product of this, but mostly Dragon Ball. Like Dragon Ball, like
yeah,
it was like narratively like cohesive until like
Yeah.
Frieza ended, and then like he was just writing shit. Like he was just making up shit. A lot of anime or just like that type of media just suffers from that shit. Like people just not knowing what they want to do.
yeah.
So-
I remember what I was gonna say about Digibro. I was watching it and I really related to it where he said that. It was like a video from 6 years ago too. But it was like every new anime that I like now is like a comedy because animes that try to do like serious narratives are all like copying each other and they're like super
Also,
boring.
actually, I like that you brought that up. It's like author, the way, bro, when anime tries to do philosophy, they're so out of their depth, bro.
Yeah, now they
Even
are. They
Shonen
used to
Jump
be.
is
They used
so
to be
out of
really
depth.
good. Like Psychopaths and Monica Magica are like both like really big examples for me personally because I really like both of those. There's a bunch of more anime too, but like there's like a certain time where it basically just ends. Like those animes I think are really really good with what they try to say. And then you watch that one like slice of life show that came out like I think in like 2015 or 16, Girls Last Tour. I watched it last when I was in like middle school, but that show is so stupid. It's literally just like the generic. It's like the anime was made for like a video essay to be made about it about like
Do you guys
about
Do
like
you guys-
about making meaning out of nothing.
Oh yeah, one thing.
That's
I like
so,
Clonard. I forgot. Speaking of slice of life, I wish I had that life.
one?
Clonard.
Oh yeah, I like it's kind of annoying to talk about. It's not deep at all. It's annoying to talk about now. But I liked Azumanga as a kid. I found it really funny.
Did you guys ever watch that like femdom anime that was like all the guys they had to go to a prison and they were like being humiliated by all these women.
What,
guys
High
remember
School
that one?
DxD? Is that what that show's called?
What is it?
I just remember it was like all these guys went to like a there's like female segregation. They live in like a matriarchy and
Shit.
they like accidentally gender mixed and then now they have to go to this like prison where they get beat up and killed by like giant women.
What is
or-
this?
I can't remember what it's called, but I remember somebody on 4chan wrote like a giant like essay about it and he was talking about like Bentham and he's talking about like different matriarchal societies. I thought it was really funny.
If you guys know what he's talking about, please drop a comment below. This is up my alley.
It's gratuitous or like it's like sexually gratuitous, but it's like saying that if you like it, then you're like a freak. And I feel like there's a lot of
there's like too much media like that, which is actually
Yeah.
funny. Or like I guess they just have like a billion people like in the industry just on hold to write like really raunchy, saucy manga and anime and like ichi stuff, but they hate like doing it even though they're the ones making it. And it's like their fault also because they're bad people and they're basically like they'll do anything for money, but it's so cynical and they'll literally make really disgusting like debaucherous like X-rated stuff, and then they'll be like, if you like this, you're like a loser.
Oh,
And
it's called
like
Prison School.
prison school, bruh. But yeah, I never watched this personally, but this I've seen this unfortunately. I've seen like some of it, yeah.
But what I was gonna say is that there's so much anime like that where it's legit like it's like so gratuitous and it's as if like companies just pay them, hey, make an anime about femdom high school prison, and then they go and make it, but then they make it like it's like making fun of you for liking it.
Yeah, it's just so cynical. If you guys want a really good video to watch, watch Digibros. I'll put it in the description, guys. It's We Have Accepted Mediocrity, I think is the name of the video. And it's just very true. I agree with all like literally everything in the video. But just to finish what I was gonna say before, and I'll make it maybe either a separate video or a live stream on the anime Girls Last Tour, where like it shows that like when anime talking about philosophy and stuff started to become really vain and stupid. It's like once again it's an anime about nihilism, and there's a bunch of stupid quotes in the anime like, oh, it's so awesome to give up or whatever because you're free from obligation, and they're like exploring these like desolate like cities, and I don't know, it's just really stupid. Like it's made for YouTubers to talk about. And there's a lot of anime like that, and that really bothered me. Although because I was like a I can't say that word on YouTube. I was like a loser. I liked it in middle school, but then I realized that. Oh yeah, I was in middle school when it came out. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't like it when I grew a brain. But yeah, like fake intellectual anime like that is like gotta be put to. Although I did like the art style of the anime, that I can't lie. I like it too. Like cool art style. I like it. I think I drew like fan art of it a while ago. I forgot if I posted it on Yuboa-chan or somewhere else.
You're talking about Magical Girl or
No, I'm talking about look up Girls Last Tour. You'll know.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
It's the two soldier girls, her sisters. But yeah, that one is so pretentious. It's probably the most pretentious anime it's like ever been made. because it's also not like super complicated. It's just like minimalist or whatever. It's like post World War apocalypse. It's just stupid. They see these like Shinto gods or something in this temple, and they're like, I guess people create gods to be more comfortable. It's like it's actually so stupid. I hate it. I hate their stupid little musings in that show.
That's what I mean, though. It's just like
Yeah, like it was
I
good.
feel like Japanese people, like especially these authors. Not to say that Japanese people are like always out of death, but I feel like these guys. It's not even honest the fact that they're like.
It just became really midwit. That's all.
Yeah, that it all comes down back to that. Like these guys, like they have like big visions too. Like they try to have big visions, but it almost seems like they're not committed to those visions at all. They're just like want to have like the novelty of having that. It was just stupid. Like everything.
Dude, that's the thing. Is that when I was 15, I was obsessed with Rosario Vampire, and then it was like the whole idea was that this guy got paid to like make this fucking like disgusting book, and then on the second season he completely like turned it around on its head, and it was like talking about like, I'm sick of being sexualized. I actually want to kill myself. I'm gonna become a lesbian.
Dude, that's crazy.
That's but so funny. I like I think there's so much stuff.
Speaking of lesbians,
Toho's a base.
Yeah.
Anyway. Also, I think that's Suisa, actually, not Marisa.
Oh yeah.
Suika.
Yeah, read up on that. Anyway. Oh, and I got my sort of.
Hey, you fuckers say I'm not a real anime lover? It's pinche Piccolo.
I got my Sword Art Online deck.
This is my favorite anime.
Oh yeah, that's so cool, dude. That looks really cool.
What is the whole thing?
I forgot where my friend.
Hey, Esponka.
What's up?
Do you know the whole thing about like black people loving Piccolo? What is that all about? That's crazy, Matt.
Piccolo is just actually black. Like it's a black coded character. Like,
is that real? Is that true?
Yeah, it was just like even as a kid, I was like, bro, Piccolo black. Piccolo, you're black. Like it's just like
that's true.
I only ever played Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
I played the Minecraft Dragon Ball mod, and that was part of the Minecraft Dragon Ball mod community. Like just the most Mexican shit you could possibly do. Like I was doing that, bro.
Dude, it's like one step away from the Dragon Ball Z San Andreas community in Mexico.
Yeah. No, that's just the Gen Z version of that shit, bro.
Yeah.
It's the Chicano version of that shit, actually. That's funny as fuck.
Do you know anything about the Mexican anime community? I feel like we need to do outreach to them because they're still like those people are like I feel like and I don't mean Mexican Americans, I mean Mexicans are like mad like insular, especially on the internet. They're kind of like
they're way more ironical than like us, or they caught on to that shit more than us, and they're like they just actually like memes more. I think
they're like Forest-Seeded Dreams.
Yeah, like shout out that channel. You gotta help us do outreach to them, especially on our website. We need to have.
I've wanted to do that for a minute.
Yeah,
I want to see
you could
what
be
type
the
of ideas are doing that, bro.
We're gonna I want to obviously on the site we're gonna talk about like a lot of different stuff. We're gonna blog about a bunch of different stuff, but like we need to create like a bridge between like weird people and some weird IG page type stuff, except it's like the Mexican equivalent.
Convert like weird like South American and like Mexican people who make like cartoon memes, like Homer Simpson memes.
Yeah.
I feel like only Mexican people are like good anime watchers. If you're in South America and you watch anime, you're probably fucked up.
If you're Argentine.
Like that one Chilean guy, Argentinian guy.
Well, Chile. I think it's not even South Americans. Like Brazilians seem kind of normal. It's like just Chileans. Like Chileans are like weird.
Dude, Chileans like I know like 3 different Chileans that kill animals.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
That's like their national sport over there is like abusing animals. Like what happened?
Chilean people are really tapped in with the internet. I don't know why or how. I think it's just because like they're actually like relatively rich.
I
compared
have
to their
one. I
neighbors.
have one Argentinian friend. Shout out. I love him. We play 2K together. You made 2K online, but the other Argentinian guys, one of them's probably gonna watch this. You know who you are. I don't like you.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What
I
the fuck?
really,
You know
I'm
what I
just
mean?
kidding.
Bam,
I'm
bam,
just kidding.
bam, bam.
I do kind of like you sometimes, but like I've given you way too many chances, dude.
You're a
Anyway,
little bit better than the guy from Florida.
You don't fuck with the flat legit.
oh man, that guy, he's probably also watching this, or he will be. Those are our fans.
Do we have like always one or two active watcher and then just like 16 other fans?
We have like we just have weird people that like this is like our secret channel basically, even though it's like our only real channel. It's secret. People watch it, but they don't say anything. They just gawk, and then they bring up like videos. Yeah, it's literally what they do.
Come here.
Anyway, do you guys have any other things you want to talk about, and then we can end the stream? We're at the 2 hour and 10 minute mark. We're gonna have better streams after this. Like I'll actually put together stuff with Crespin or Esponka or whatever.
Also, this is my first. Well,
Yeah.
not my first time doing something like this, but my first time doing something like this in a minute.
Yeah, he's gonna. Get
I want
better.
to talk about this is like a social phenomenon. I want to talk about in a minute the like autistic drawer community, and I don't mean like the go anime types. I mean like the drawer girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You guys know what I'm talking about? Like people who make like
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's slideshow animation.
I love those people.
Markiplier.
I'm subscribed to like at least 20 different channels like that on YouTube.
That shit's fascinating to me.
Yeah, we'll do a deep dive of that sometime. 'Cause I love those people. Oh yeah, actually, we could probably. Nah, we'll do. Are you up for streaming tomorrow, Steven?
Yeah.
All right, we'll stream
I'll see.
tomorrow, probably even earlier. We'll talk about VTubers maybe.
Do you think I should?
We're gonna talk about VTuber.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
talked about a bunch of other stuff that deserves its own.
Should we talk about Berserk with Syncrade, or would you rather me watch Madoka Magica?
You need to watch. You need to watch Madoka Magica.
We actually need to do a video on Berserk.
You need to read. You need to read. We can't talk about Berserk yet until you like went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Watch Madoka Magic first. Madoka Magica. Watch that first. Well, you have to. Watch the full show. Don't watch the movies. Watch the full show, and then you have to watch Rebellion because that's the sequel to the show. The first two movies are just.
Okay,
recaps.
watch Madoka Magic, read all of Berserk. Can I watch the video essay by that anime lolly where it's like 24 hours long?
I'm gonna kill you.
Nanners.
The fuck?
Yeah.
You gonna kill me? Oh, so you're
My
not killing me.
Overwatch girlfriend.
She has a voice like Nanners. Dude, I'm basically dating someone on Overwatch. She has a voice like Nanners. It's probably the funniest joke I've ever heard in my life.
Matthew, once I finish Madoka Magica or Berserk, you gotta play Deus Ex, and we gotta talk about Deus Ex.
Yeah. We'll do that. That's the plan.
I'm too
Alright.
retarded to figure out Deus Ex. I couldn't figure out the controls, so I like quit.
Well, all right. Tomorrow we'll stream earlier, and we're gonna have a full topic. This is the first time, one of the first times he's ever been on something like this, and we're just talking. So that way, all the creepy stalker people, like in the future, can like trace back to this to learn everything about him. You know what I mean?
That's a fucking stalker. Fucking
Yeah.
stalker. Speaking of
Yeah.
stalker, I'm playing Stalker Anomaly. I can't figure that shit out either.
You're pissing me off.
Just specifically
Do you guys have any closing words?
Follow me at esponka on the gram. Like all of my fit pics, because I have drip and I'm in high school. So I just want to let y'all know. I wrestle for the Minstrel Monarch lacrosse wrestling team. Important shit. I'm going D1 at the 120 class. I can bench press 155 for 4 reps. Probably maybe like 160 because I'm like just a strong dude. Fucking big musculature. I love my friends. I love these guys. These guys are my favorite new buddies. We're getting new buddies every day. We're grafting more buddies on the tree of. We're grafting more buddies on the tree of love. We are doing that.
Yeah.
We are doing that
Tam Dam Nation
on the Tandem tree.
on the Tam Dam tree. Yeah, it's gonna be good. So we're gonna stream tomorrow. We're gonna be more focused. It's gonna be earlier, so hopefully people watch it.
Have an outline.
All right. Yeah, an outline. 'Cause we had none. Peace.
Peace, y'all.